I hear you have the newest wife in town.
Yes, so I didn't know the news had gotten to you.
This is an uppercut too. because you know I couldn't come. So you are asking, so you heard it and you didn't come.
It's nice to have you on the line this morning.
Hey, we did.
In fact, typically, when it comes to the National Health Insurance Scheme, we're having a discussion. The discussions are usually about National Health Insurance Scheme owing service providers. For the first time, the conversation has turned on its head, and we're talking about the National Health Insurance Scheme being owed by government. That government is heavily indebted to the National Health Insurance Scheme. Now, tell us about this, because we understand this is the subject of a meeting your committee had with the National Health Insurance Scheme. How bad is it?
Okay, so now let me say good morning to your listeners and viewers this morning and tell you that the National Health Insurance Authority, or the fund, is in precarious situation, and it has been created by Nana Akufo-Addo and Bawumia deliberately, and I'll tell you why. The National Health Insurance Authority is facing two main challenges, and one was deliberately created by Akufo-Addo and Bawumia. One is what we call capping. Now, since the establishment of the National Health Insurance Fund, from President Kufuor through the late President Mills to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, none of these governments, none of these presidents has ever touched the National Health Insurance Fund money. And so now we've had this conversation severally. I've quoted the appropriate sections in the National Health Insurance Act to you that indicate clearly that you and I pay what we call National Health Insurance levy, even if you decide to go for lunch today. So these monies are upfront payment, reliable, one of the most reliable funds you can get in this country. So it is not the case that the government must struggle to get some money to fund the National Health Insurance Authority. No. It is reliable, it is upfront payment that under no circumstances should government owe the National Health Insurance Fund. Now, when government has collected these monies, the law says that the money must be paid directly into the National Health Insurance Fund within 30 days. And these provisions I'm quoting from the National Health Insurance Act are Section 52(1) and 2. Now, since Nana Akufo-Addo and Bawumia became the leaders of this country, from 2018 till date, they have deliberately taken about 6 billion Ghana cedis from the National Health Insurance money in the name of capping. So, when they decide, for example, we are collecting 10 billion, then they will decide, after the 10 billion, we are taking, let's say, 3 billion or 4 billion, and they call it capping. So now there's a huge gap, because already, even if they had used all the money for its intended purpose, it would have not been sufficient. And yet, government is taking some chunk portion of the money. So it's one of the big problems of the scheme. One of the big problems of the scheme. Now, I think that is not enough. After taking a chunk of the money, what is left to go to the National Health Insurance Fund, which the law says should be within 30 days, has also become tug of war. So, if you could recall, there was a point that came out with a diagram, some graph, indicating that the year 2020, government paid 0% to the National Health Insurance Authority. Do you remember that graph?
Yes.
Good. Now, this year, the reality is that when the media is reporting it, they are not reporting it well. And I'm going to take my time to explain to you. the truth of the matter is that this year, before last 2 weeks, when I brought my press release, government was owing from May 2023 to May 2024, one complete year. So now follow me well. It's going to be a bit complex, but I trust that viewers and listeners will follow and then understand. Now, from May to May, when we came out with a press release, then they rushed to come and pay May 2023, June 2023, and some part of July 2023. In fact, the last release was made on 30th May 2024. That was when I had done my press release and I was passing them in the media. So, the truth of the matter is that from July till date, government is owing. Now, I understand some 2.4 billion is being, bandied around. Now, the truth of the matter is that the 2.4 billion that is being mentioned in the media is actually what government owes the scheme from July to February 2024 only. So from March to May, it's not part of it. We're not speaking about that.
July to February is 2.4 billion cedis.
Exactly. From July last year to this year, February, is the 2.4 billion we are talking about. So, from March to May has never been mentioned in the conversation. So you can imagine how much government owes. And to tell you the truth, government has not paid a peso with respect to the 2024 formula. So we are dealing with 2023 for now. Now, that is where I'm saying that you must follow it well, and it's going to get a bit complex here, but I believe you understand. Now, the 2024 formula is about 6.8 billion, which a CD has not been paid out of it. Now, I'm telling you that from July to February 2024, from July last year, 2023 to February this year, is 2.4 billion. So if the entire 2024 budget is 6.8 billion, half of it, because we are in the 5th month, isn't it?
Yes.
So half of it will be around 3.4 billion, isn't it?
Yes.
Good. So what it means is that from January 2024 to May, let's say government is owing around 3 billion. I'm saying 3 billion or even 2.4 billion. Let's even say 2.4 billion, because we are in June and June hasn't ended yet. So if we have calculated January, February to be part of the 2.4, and you take January, February out of, let's say, the 3 billion I'm talking about, let's even leave, let's subtract about 1 billion out of the 3 billion. We are left with about 2 billion. So if you go and add that 2 billion to the 2.4 billion I'm talking about, it means that from July 2023 to May 2024, government is owing in the region of 4.4 billion Ghana cedis. 4.4 million Ghana cedis. Interestingly, they are talking about support to dialysis. The support to dialysis, what Dr. Bawumia doesn't know anything about, and he's going around taking the credit. In fact, when they came to the formula, there was absolutely no mention of anything for dialysis. So we, the members of parliament, insisted that a provision must be made for dialysis, at least something small. So we ring-fenced 2 billion in the formula, which the executive doesn't know anything about. He doesn't know anything about it. Now, this money, they realize that cannot do much. And of course, that 2 billion cannot even take care of more than 2 cycles out of the 8 cycles for Kolebu alone. So they then decide to play some deceptive strategy. They looked at the entire population for the renal patients, and they realized that the people below 18 years and above 60 years constitute about 20%. So let's leave the 20% and leave the 80% and go like, oh, we are absorbing the dialysis cost for the people. So in actual fact, the chance of the problem still persists. Now, even if you put all that aside, the money we ring-fence for the dialysis is in the 2024 formula, which we have not even finished paying the 2023 one. So the 2023 money, not a peswa, has been paid. So how are you going to get money to finance this? That is why when the patients go to the various facilities, they sack them, because they have not paid anything. And in this case, if the facilities also don't take care, and they decide to take care of the patients without any money, you know the challenges in the National Health Insurance. It may take them about 6 months, 7 months before they get their money. Looking at the inflation rate and the depreciation of the cedi on hourly basis, they cannot afford to do that. So as I speak to you now, when they go to the various facilities, they don't attend to them. They have only one option. They may decide to use the money they are paying to them now, the arrears they are paying to them now, to go and take care of the dialysis, which of course they owe the service providers already. And in all these conversations, it's an ad hoc program because it's for only 6 months. So after the 2024 elections, we go back to the status quo. The status quo remains. So now, have you followed the conversation?
Yes, I have. So one, the first thing is that you're saying from July to February 2024 alone, government owes the service providers 2.4 billion.
Fantastic. You're unpacking it so well.
Okay. But the total debt, if you're calculating from that July to the June that we are in, you're looking at 4.4 billion.
Fantastic.
Just based on looking at the formula alone.
Yes.
Okay. A few things. One, I realized that the capping, when you talked about the capping, is the 6 billion that the formula says is to dedicate to National Health Insurance Scheme after the capping.
Yes. That's after the capping. So government has taken the portion he wants to take. So it's, all the figures I'm referring to are after capping.
What is he using the rest of the money is taken away from the National Health Insurance Fund? Is there some clarity on it?
Cathedral.
But they are no longer constructing the cathedral.
So we sunk billions of dollars into it. We've forgotten millions of dollars into it. So the point I'm trying to tell you is that it is discretionary. He decides to use it on anything he wants.
Okay.
He decides that, look, I want to rent private jet with this money, and I don't care about the health of the people. In fact, in actual fact, government is supposed to spend not less than 15% of our national budget every year in the health sector, per the Abuja Declaration. Unfortunately, in Ghana, we are rather taking money from the health sector.
Per understanding of the scheme, even the 6 billion that will be released this year, would it be enough to cover the national health insurance's liabilities for this year?
It's not enough, because they claim there are gaps, and even there's this conversation of increasing the premium, and I have vowed to resist it. And you know why I will resist it? Because already, if you think it's not enough, why are you capping it? You're already taking a chunk of the money. So let's put the capping back, and let's see if it's still not enough. Then we'll all talk about increasing premium, but not until they stop the capping. If they talk about the increment in the premium, I will resist it. I will resist it on any day.
How much of the money they collect does the government take away in the name of capping? What percentage?
So to be fair, from 2018, since the capping law came into force till now, I mean, excluding 2024, they have taken about 6 billion Ghana cedis in the name of capping. And these 6 billion Ghana cedis can take care of all dialysis issues and other. You can put about 5, diseases together. You can still take care of them. In fact, the whole of the year's budget is even 6 point something. So you can imagine what that 6 billion could have done. And this 6 billion is not the 6 billion today, because you know our city has depreciated now. So this 6 billion could have done better if it has been part of the National Health Insurance Fund.
And I'm wondering if there has been any improvement in terms of government releasing funds ever since you started raising these issues. Because you started raising these issues, I think, as far back as the 2019 thereabout, when you're talking about the releases in the years.
What they do is that, and I'll tell you the truth and the secret in this matter, I won't hide anything from you. What they do is that when I raise the temperature, like we are doing at the moment, and I start striking, then they'll go and release something small. So when the pressure or the temperature goes down, they'll go to sleep. So last 2 weeks, if you follow, I started this conversation with a press release, if you remember.
Yes.
So when I did the press release, then I followed it up with an official letter calling for an emergency meeting at the committee level to invite all stakeholders. So then they started taking, because I indicated in my letter that we want to do this meeting with the presence of the press. So they quickly released something. And now we have gone to the stakeholders meeting, and what I want us to do is to have a plan so that we all follow to pay this money. But I can assure you, once we finish this conversation, they will go back to sleep again.
See.
So that has been the trend. And so now, in every year, National Health Insurance alone, if you look at the press conferences and the press release I do not less than 3 on National Health Insurance alone. And it's deliberate. Because once I keep quiet, they won't pay anything. That is it. That's what it is. I'm telling the truth.
But whilst you do all this, those who have handled the National Health Insurance scheme, especially when it comes to somebody like Dr. Bernardo Koboy, who has since, I think, he's been moved to the Health Ministry or thereabout, he has always insisted that the National Health Insurance scheme was in good health.
Deception is the middle name for this government. Why is it that anytime I come out, you're not able to come out to come and challenge me? Have you asked yourself that question? Anytime, on any single day from 2019 till now, tell me one single occasion that I have done any press release or any press conference in the health sector, and they've gotten the ball to come and challenge me. The first one they tried was Sputnik, and then how did they turn out? The first one they tried was Sputnik. They were defending it. They were my chairman started it. As a chairman, be careful. He didn't listen to me. He was on all radio stations defending it. How did they turn out? So you you just go to find out, check. If in any of my press engagement, they have ever come out to say that, Akandor, you have mentioned this figure, you have said this about the health sector, and it is not true, we have come to explain, or they have done any counter press conference or press release. They cannot. Because I sit on the committee, and all these figures I'm talking about, they bring the document to us at the committee level. I am using the old document, and they're saying I'm lying. How can you say this? The formula is there. So, I have approved the 2023 formula for you. You have come for 2024 formula. When you were coming, you yourself, you have briefed me on the performance of the 2023. When I'm putting it out there, you come and tell me it's not true. You cannot. Tell me how anybody can do this. It is not speculation. I am not conjuring any figures. It is their own figures they bring to me.
Okay. Having said that, you said you ring-fenced, is it 2 billion cedis?
Yes, for the dialysis.
For the dialysis.
Mm-hmm.
But you're saying even that will not be enough. Is it for the 6 months period?
Okay, so even the 6 months period, what I hear they have done is that they're going to take portion of their corporate social responsibility money to add onto the 2 billion to run what they say 18 and below, and then 60 and above. And even that one is not enough. It is for only 6 months. And after 6 months, the status quo remains. Unless and until within these 6 months, they come out with a comprehensive plan and money, not only plan and talk, and money. And they tell us where they are going to sustainably finance dialysis. And then the access must also not be forgotten.
And you're saying that all this came about because you parliamentarians decided that this was the way to go.
Insisted, not decided. Insisted.
Okay.
Because at the point, the authority was saying that their budget was tight. And we gave them that we only approve this formula on one condition, that you put something in the formula for dialysis. So Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is not a member of parliament. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is not a member of the health committee, and he has absolutely no knowledge about how we did it. Please, this is unbecoming of a vice president and unexpected of him.
What happens after the 6 months?
Well, we all don't know. We go back to pay our increment in dialysis cost.
But I know if you're able to in the first place insist that this is put aside at least for 6 months to lessen the plight of kidney patients. Have you thought about maybe a long-term solution that can be explored?
Well, as much as the hope, what I see, the hope is that after the 6 months, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, after 2025, 2025, January 7th, right? Right? That's why they show the president in, isn't it?
Yes, January 7th.
Fantastic. Now, he has promised. If you check the 2024 manifesto, is not yet out. But in the 2020 manifesto, he has promised that he is going to create a special fund for this purpose. And so that is where the hope comes. Other than that, we have no hope. And then we will decide to go along with his vision and then try to find some hope for the people having renal challenges.
Well, thank you very much for speaking to us on this once again. And I'm hoping that perhaps this noise will help.
Sena, whenever I have any conversation with you, I wish and pray you keep them and play them at the appropriate time.
Ara wo Mintah Akandor o be ko na bi say emo no gusua na say no wajai
bi jai mo ne ma didan morning, I never good day. I buy with
you. And say, just have a banner age, Jumano.
Sinner,
Yes.
I'm reminding you of a conversation I had with you.
Mm.
There was a time when Abu Jinapo was appointed as the minister responsible for lands and forestry. Do you remember?
Yes, I do have that on my our YouTube page.
And I had a conversation with you.
Mm.
He came with some energy and vigor on Galamsey.
Mm.
And I told you that time that it was going to be worse. You challenged and doubted me. Do you remember?
Yes, I do. Vividly.
Well, your guess is as good as mine today.
Mm.
I told you at the time that it was going to be worse. And that has been their modus operandi. Anything they want to do. At the time, the strategy was that let's sack those people in the system. Let's sack everybody so that our people will take control. I told you at the time. Anyway, it is not for today. So I thank you for having me.
Thank you. I wish you all the best. That's Honorable Commissioner Mintah Akandor, ranking member on the Health Committee, member of Parliament for JUABOSO. In fact, I remember that conversation vividly because his constituency is one of those where you can find this Galamsey issue actually menacing. You can see the effects of the menace of Galamsey vividly when you go to his constituency. He was talking to us about exactly what was happening in his constituency, exactly what the situation was. And then he told us that Abu Jinapo, he just because they just brought him in, they are making it look like he's come. He won't do anything. It's true. He hasn't done anything. It's been they have normalized it. See, when you normalize things, people get over time. People get used to it. So they say, "Oh, okay, they are doing it. Let's move on." Yeah. So it's not like as if they will stop. So let's move. Let's find a way of adapting to it. So that is the challenge that we are faced with. So Abu Jinapo really has not done anything about the problem. It's one thing, but it's another conversation that we can have for another day. Yes. So a very interesting conversation from him. So I think what we'll do. Okay, Mr. Samuel Boache is a private health insurance provider. Thank you very much for your time and good morning to you.
Good morning, boss.
Did I get your designation right?
Not really. Is private health facilities